Welcome back, everyone, to another Wargiven Racing podcast. This is episode 27, discussing the Circuit of the Americas weekend for NASCAR that is coming up. So let's get right on into it. Some track information. This 3.426 mile road course opened in 2012, with its first Cup race actually being held last year. That race, unfortunately, was in a monsoon. So there were several scary accidents that fortunately don't look to be repeated this year. So I am happy to see Coda back with a normal sunny day projected for Sunday. The track has 20 turns and two long straights with multiple technical sessions. Anyone who follows F1 will know those sections. It is the constant left rights in sector one, and then the section after the second long straight or the back straight into the pit straight that is pretty technical, involving a very demanding 180-degree right hander that I love to drive in the F1 game. And then, like I mentioned, this track currently hosts the U.S. Grand Prix, but has held IndyCar, IMSA, WEC, I think V8 Supercars races in the past. But right now, it's currently only NASCAR, MotoGP, and the F1 for the U.S. Grand Prix. And then, like I mentioned, this is the second race at the track for all the top three series. And their defending winners were in Cup, Chase Elliott; in Xfinity, Kyle Busch; and in Trucks, Todd Gilliland. So for the Truck Series, they have the XPEL 225. This is their fourth race of the season, so they are 1/4 of the way through their regular season, and there have been 39 trucks entered into the race for 36 spots. Just a quick rundown on the notable entries. Cup driver Alex Bowman is driving in the number 7 Spire car. Sheldon Creed, an Xfinity driver for Richard Childress Racing, is driving in the 20 car. Hill Motorsports is now entering a second car for Tyler Hill in the number 5. Will Rogers and Brad Perez have been called in by Ream Brothers Racing to be their road course ringers for today, or for this weekend. Parker Kligerman makes his second start of the season with Henderson Motorsports. John Atwell makes his debut in the Truck Series as an owner driver. He attempted to qualify at one race last year, but was unable to do so for CMI Motorsports. Logan Barrett enters in a part-time second truck for AM Racing, so that is the Austin Wayne Self team. They're entering a second truck for this race. Samuel LeConte takes the second Glory to God, or G2G Racing truck, replacing Brennan Poole, who had, I believe, qualified it. Well, they didn't need to qualify last week, but raced it last week. Kyle Busch is back in the 51 after his self-imposed retirement from the Xfinity Series, dictating that he's not racing in that series. And then Taylor Gray makes his season debut for DGR in the number 17. So practice is different this week, as it is the first road course on the schedule, and it will use the road course format. So that is 2 groups with 20 minutes long practice, and then staying in those groups for 15-minute qualifying sessions. The top 5 in each group will run another 10-minute session to determine pole. So unlike oval qualifying, multiple trucks will be out on track, and it is a timed session rather than just getting 1 or 2 laps. Practice is Friday at 3 p.m., and then qualifying follows a half hour later at 3:30. Both of those are on FS1, and then the race is the following day at 1 p.m. Eastern on FS1, and the race is 42 laps. So staying in line with my no bushwhacker pick for winning. Oh, let's see. Road courses last year for the Truck Series. Coda, Todd Gilliland won, and he's not here. Oh, this is kind of awkward that I'm taking so long to pick here, but I can't think of another. Oh, trucks. That's right. They ran Watkins Glen, and I think Austin Hill won that race, so he's not in the series either. Oh wow, that's always lovely. I'm gonna go with Zane Smith. I think Zane Smith is gonna be the first person in the Truck Series to get 2 wins. Um, and the front row crew here has the data for Coda. They proved that last year with Gilliland getting the win last year. So I'm gonna go with Zane Smith to win this race. And then just another look at the point standings. In terms of full time drivers, Chris Wright, Timmy Hill, Grant Enfinger really need to get, and Derek Kraus, Matt DiBenedetto really need to get a move on if they're going to try and compete for the playoffs without winning a race. Um, Fortunately, I predicted that Zane Smith would win, meaning that it doesn't really matter if they don't get up there right now because um, it's not someone outside the top 10 winning. So there or not it wouldn't be someone different winning that's full time. So that wouldn't take away a playoff spot. But again, especially in the Truck Series with that shorter season, they need to start kicking on. And honestly, Fingers had a really disappointing season so far. So I don't think I'd ever call him a dark horse, but he's definitely going to be a strong competitor for this weekend. Now, moving on to the Xfinity Series in the Pit Boss 250. This is their sixth race of the season. There are 42 cars for 38 spots. Notable entries are Miguel Paludo, a Brazilian driver that is, I believe, a multiple-time champion in their stock car series, driving in the fifth junior motorsports entry, the number 88. As he's running, I believe, 3 of the road courses this year. Will Rogers is doing double duty, running in the number 38 Ryan Sieg racing car. Josh Blicky returns for his second start of the season to race in the 45 Alpha Prime car. Patrick Gallagher makes his second ever Xfinity start in the number 28 Ryan Sieg car. Cole Custer returns to the 07, the car he won in at Auto Club. So does he go 2 for 2? Bubba Wallace makes his Xfinity debut this season, racing in the number 18 Joe Gibbs car. Gar Robinson, fresh off of his IMSA Sebring race weekend, will drive the number 52 Jimmy Means Motorsport car. They haven't been able to make a race so far this season as they failed to qualify at Daytona, did not enter any race on the West Coast swing, and due to qualifying being canceled this Saturday for Atlanta, they were unable to make the race there. So hopefully for them, they are able to make this race to have their first start of the season. Scott Hecker is taking over the number 5 BJ McLeod Motorsports car. Parker Kligerman, with a late call-up to do double duty, is now driving the 35 Emmerling Gase racing car. Sage Karam is back in the 44 for Alpha Prime. Preston Pardis makes his season debut with DGM in the number 91. Ross Chastain comes down as well to make it 3 Cup drivers in this Xfinity race in the number 92 DGM car. And then Parker Chase makes his Xfinity debut this season in the number 26 Sam Hunt machine. So again, practice and qualifying for Xfinity is the same as the trucks. 20-minute practice, then 2 groups of 15-minute qualifying, and then top 5 run another 10 minutes. Their practice is at 5 o'clock on FS1, and qualifying follows that at 5:30, and then the race is the next day on Saturday at 4:30 on FS1. And then their race is 48 laps. So just taking a look at the point standings real quick. Obviously, 3 drivers of the 12 have been locked in. We've got that tight race around the bubble with Herbst, Sieg, Castle, Creed, Mayer, and Brown, and Jeb Burton. So, it's again already heating up. This is race 6 of 26 when it comes to the playoffs. So we're approaching 1/4 of the way in the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series. I mean, AJ Allmendinger's already, what is that, 82 points up. So I would say Allmendinger's already practically locked himself in unless he has any major issues um, in a few races. I mean, you don't lose 80 points very quickly, especially with the stage points, which he's good at picking up. So I think he's going to be strong. I forgot to pick a winner. I think he's going to win. I think Allmendinger's going to, not even have to worry about points. He's going to pick up a win in what has been a disappointing overall season for Kaulig. I mean, Allmendinger's finished in the top 10 all 4 races. Landon Castle's finished in the top 10 quite a few times. Daniel Hemrick has been consistently in the top 10, but they haven't shown race-winning pace. I think that changes this weekend with AJ Allmendinger winning for Kaulig. So then moving on to the Cup race, the Echo Park Automotive Grand Prix. It's weird saying Grand Prix when it comes to stock car racing, but it is what it is. So this is also race 6 of 26 in the regular season, 6 of 36 overall. So we are 1/6 of the way through the season already. Wow. 39 cars are entered for this weekend's race. So this is the second highest entry list, the second most car count, except for Daytona or under Daytona, which had 42 entries. So everyone's going to make the field, but the notable entries are Kaz Grala returning for the Money Team in their second NASCAR start. AJ Allmendinger's doing the double duty in the full-time driver rotation Kaulig number 16. Joey Hand, a normal driver in the road course scene in IMSA and other, road and GT series, is driving the 15 Rick Ware car. Boris Said makes his NASCAR return, driving in the number 66 MBM Motorsports car, which I had accidentally stated that JJ Yeley was doing that. My apologies. Luis Hezemans makes his Cup debut in the 2017 Hezeberg Ford. So their second ever race. I'm interested to see how he does. Obviously, he's a multiple-time NASCAR Euro champion, but so far his oval pace in the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series has been quite poor. And I know he's been running in the Truck Series for Ream Brothers, which isn't the fastest team. And then he ran last week at Atlanta, his first ever super speedway pack-style racing in a Ryan Sieg car, and he had mechanical problems. So, jury's still out on him, but I'm excited to see what he can do on a road course. Andy Lally takes over for BJ McLeod in the number 78 Live Fast car. After he raced in IMSA this weekend, I'm happy to see Lally back. Lally originally was scheduled to run Alpha Prime's road courses in one of their cars, but I'm assuming that this deal came up and he took this instead of doing double duty. And I believe he's also going to be on TV for the truck race, if I remember correctly seeing that on Twitter. And then the practice qualifying format is the same as the other two series. However, practice is actually at 10 a.m. on Saturday, and then at 11, and then qualifying follows at 11 a.m. So it's a little bit different since it's Saturday right before the truck race, but that means you get a full day on Saturday of NASCAR racing, which who doesn't love that? And then the race is 3:30 EST Sunday on Fox, and it is 68 laps. So, talking who's going to win. Excuse me. Austin Cindric has obviously got to be a favorite. Vegas is currently, putting money on Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson as they were battling for the win last year during that monsoon. Ross Chastain was a quiet 4th place last year. I've probably got to go Cindric. He's had a very disappointing few races after the 500. Not entirely his fault. He's been caught up in incidents. So I think he's going to bounce back here. I don't think he's going to get pole. I think that will go to Kyle Larson. But I think throughout a stint, Cindric will be better. Obviously, that depends on how the stages break down. Good Lord, there's stage cautions on a road course. I hate that so much. It just doesn't feel right, especially on a road course. So who knows what the funky strategy is going to be? We could see cars short pitting to get the track position to start stage two or whatnot. I don't know. This is the first road course for the new car, so it's going to be entertaining to see how it does. How long the fuel tank lasts. I mean, I think Cindric's going to do it. He was able to run competitively in what was a backup Penske car last year before it broke down at Circuit of the Americas. So I'm going to go with Austin Cindric to get his second Cup win and actually be the first Cup driver to win a second race this season. But it wouldn't surprise me to see Ross Chastain competing up front, to see Chase Elliott pick up his first win of the season, to see Larson get his second. And who knows, Christopher Bell could use a bounce back weekend. He won at a road course last year at Daytona. I mean, he could do it this weekend, but he's just had trouble every weekend. So, I don't really know. But moving on. So this is not updated because of right as I went live, there was an announcement. Brad Keselowski and Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing have been deducted 100 points from their drive. So the driver points for Keselowski, the owner points for the number 6, and I think they were docked 10 playoff points for illegally changing a part on the next gen, a vendor part, and modifying it. So this is inaccurate. He now only has 22 points total. So that drops him, I believe it's to 35th, which is nuts. So this kind of derails him. He's now in a win or in situation, and I don't think he's going to do that here at COTA. So really unfortunate for him. So obviously that bumps Cindric up to 16th, Bubba up to 17th, Jones up to 18th, Buescher up to 19th. And then the other major news that came out that I just thought of, but it's gone now, because of course it is. Anyway, apologies for that, but yes, Keselowski suffered that massive penalty, an L2 penalty, so the second tier. They could have taken up to 125 points, but obviously not knowing what it was yet. And I believe they fined him, they fined the team, and they suspended his crew chief for 4 races. So Keselowski's rocky start is continuing and getting a lot worse. But, with the standings right now, no one I'd say is definitively safe. I mean, I don't see Kurt Busch or Joey Logano or Chase Elliott really struggling and losing that much ground. Even Eric Almirola, I don't see losing that. So, while it's obviously a lot more competitive points-wise than in previous years, I really think the battle is going to be between how many winners we have and then who in the top 16 in points still hasn't won in order to fill up those winner spots. So, with that being said, that's all for today. I'm looking forward to see NASCAR's second ever weekend at COTA. I think it's going to be a lot better, not only with the new car, but with the better weather. So that's exciting, in my opinion. The Trucks Xfinity doubleheader is always great. I did actually check ticket prices for this. Obviously, I couldn't go with school and work and everything. But this was a pretty affordable weekend if you wanted to see all 3 races. I believe it was $120 for like the lowest portion of grandstand seats, which is pretty good, and then $100 if you wanted to just go general admission for the whole weekend. So that's pretty good, honestly. So again, I'm happy that COTA's putting the effort there to allow fans to come and see not just the Cup race, but to see all the races. And I think, based off of how many people went last year, we'll hopefully see the same amount of people there. Obviously, this isn't going to be like F1, where it's 400,000 people over the course of a weekend. But with the sun, with it being spring, pandemic restrictions are lifted. I think there's going to be a good crowd on hand, and I think it's going to continue the trend of good crowds to start this season. I think the racing product's going to be better. We'll see how the stages affect the strategy, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So, with that being said, keep watching the racing. Look for my F1 weekend preview that's coming out soon for Saudi Arabia. And enjoy the on-track action this weekend. Have a lovely